All right, well, let's get started.
Okay.
Yay.
Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your dreams?
Lauren Lapkus, welcome to Soul Sisters.
Thank you.
Lane Moore, welcome back to Soul Sisters.
Thanks.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
So this was like a fortuitous, random combining of people. Lauren, you're in town to launch your new podcast?
Yeah, I'm here for the Now Hear This Festival, which is a podcast festival happening for this whole weekend in New York.
It's like every single podcast that I listen to is presenting there.
Yeah, it's really
amazing.
fun. And I'm launching a new podcast that I'm doing with John Gabris, who's a hilarious comedian. And it's all about the 90s and 80s TV shows that we grew up on called Raised by TV. So I'm very excited to do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
And so Lane, your band, It Was Romance, is starting a new performance series that is 90s focused, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's the Venn diagram overlap
Yes.
between you two.
Yeah.
And you guys kick off next week, right?
Yeah, on the 15th at Arlene's Grocery.
Awesome. And the subject of your show will be...
Oh, yeah. So it's called 90s Albums Live, and the first one is going to be the Empire Records soundtrack, like front to back. And
That's so fun.
I'm so excited. I'm going to dress up. Like, I already own the costume that Corey wears in the movie just, like, for my own purposes. And so I'm going to wear it, and my friend's, like, making it.
Which character was Corey?
Liv Tyler's character.
okay,
so, like,
okay.
the fuzzy blue
crop
sweater
top.
and the, like,
Yes.
the fuzzy sweater. Like,
Isn't
I
it like
went-
short? Like, or
It's-
no, am
yeah,
I wrong?
it's
I
a-
feel like
it's
there's
a
a belly
little-
button that I witnessed.
There is. I don't know that
witnessed.
mine is present because my skirt like comes up
Oh,
here,
yeah.
but like I'll do the best I can. It's like
Just flash it at one point.
I know it's like
full
whatever, but I am
experience.
gonna wear the like the red bra and like the
Nice.
tacky like beige underwear that she wears
That's
to like
amazing.
seduce Rick Manning. Like no one will know that but me, but like
I don't know. You might have some diehards there.
That's true, but like I'm not gonna like let them. I'm not gonna like show them that, but like
Okay.
they'll know.
If one of them is lucky enough. Maybe.
Yeah, right. I just want to meet
Don't
someone with
predict how your
floppy
night's gonna
hair. Like, I just want to meet someone who looks like the floppy-haired hot guy in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
That's my only reason for doing that.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Thank you for being honest
Yeah, no
about
problem.
it. Yeah. So wait, Lauren, are you going to keep doing your old podcast?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I have more coming. It's
Do
too
you?
much.
You're already like on Comedy Bang Bang every week.
Yeah, I definitely I'm questioning my choices, but I have other podcasts coming out later this year. But yeah, I'm still doing my regular podcast, which comes out once a week, called With Special Guest Lauren Lapkus. And that's an improv podcast, so it's a different vibe. But
Yeah. I was listening to the one the other day where you guys were all Sex and the City characters.
Yeah.
And I fucking died on the train.
Oh,
like I
thank
was
you.
so embarrassed at how I could not keep it together. I'm usually good about not doing that in public, but that one was nuts.
Oh, that's the best. I love when people laugh at it in public. It's just so great.
Yeah.
Like, I almost crashed my car. I'm like, awesome.
Well, it's especially weird to like laugh at a podcast when you're on a subway because what do people think that you're doing?
I know.
Right.
You're just like
They
going
probably don't think
crazy. Like,
podcast.
you're listening to music being like,
Yeah. This song makes me feel so jolly.
lost your mind.
Yeah.
I laugh sometimes even when I don't have headphones. Like, I'll just like think of jokes in my head or
Yeah,
I'll
me
play
too.
scenes from my...
I was
funny.
I was
Comedy
laughing at a
thing.
book
Yeah.
2 days ago when I was flying on the plane, and I was like, that feels like a really old-fashioned thing to happen. That I'm like,
Totally.
Yeah.
writing. That's great, but like it feels like it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, and kids are like, "Mommy, what's that thing she's holding?"
Well, it was an iPad, so
Oh,
they would know
okay.
that.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
You're a
so
modern
you're just
gal.
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Nobody even thought that.
No one thought it was weird.
Can I ask you
dark.
guys what your stance is on Sex in the City right now?
I'm fully on board forever.
Yes.
I think they're making a new movie, aren't they? Are they doing a third?
Oh, I don't
heard a
know.
rumor of it, but
Really?
maybe it was like a lie. But
There's a rumor every like
I
3 months.
know.
It's like, it's coming back. It's like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
I want it to, even though the second movie was really bad.
It's a little
But
dicey.
I would love just more. I just want more.
Yeah.
Always.
Do
I could
you
watch
feel like
any
it was
episode.
important? Would you say that?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. Do you feel that way?
I do feel like it was. I mean, in general, though, like, I want to hear more stories from women in their, like, 30s, 40s, 50s, and
Totally.
on.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
I think it's easy to make fun of it, but I think there are more reasons to applaud it. Like,
Yeah.
To put it down.
And you can make fun of, there's, like, I don't know. You can hold both parts. I always get really like protective when people make fun of Lilith Fair because it's always rooted in sexism. Always.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, with Sex
I feel
and
like
the
Sex and the
City,
City does a little bit of that too.
yeah,
You know
but
what I
I
mean?
also I feel like on my podcast we definitely mocked it, but like it's
Yeah.
because we know it
Well-
so
well,
well.
that's
'cause
what
we,
I'm
like,
saying.
love
That
it.
was
It
the
depends
joke.
who
Yeah.
says
You
it.
found
It
like
depends
the
who
most
says it.
ridiculous parts of each character and just
Right.
like turned it to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why it was
Well,
fun.
that's kind of what I mean. It's like I can see the funny parts in Sex and the City, but also hold that it's like it's because you love it so much. You're not coming
Right.
from a
Yeah.
place of like. But a lot of times when people
and
make fun
parody's
of it,
a totally different thing, and that's
Right,
what
right.
Yeah.
you guys were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's different than like. But you know, you hear people like talk about Sex and the City, and you're like, oh, you hate women.
Yeah.
Whereas it's
Right.
opposed to like, I love this show, but it's ridiculous.
Right.
Like, and that's I'm
Yeah.
of the same stance.
Right.
Where
And
it's
I
just-
mean, it kind of, it was one of the, I don't know, catalysts for shows like Girls, which Lena has talked about. Lena was on Girls. by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really? That's
Uh-huh.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure I saw you.
Yeah.
You did.
I've seen
You
every
did.
episode.
She
Yeah.
was in the Charlie and Marnie reunion episode.
Ooh,
Right,
oh
the
yeah,
Central Park
awesome.
episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
How many
great.
times? Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, you can like make fun of Girls as much as you want, but I think that was also an important show, right? So
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
just
Again,
love
and
that.
even I feel like the creators can make fun of that. It's like
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. I don't like when like I can lovingly make fun of things, but when people just like hatefully make fun of things, especially when they're made by like women or people of color or like queer people, I'm just like, no.
We don't
Yeah.
need to do that.
Not in a it's because there's so few of them. I'm
Yeah,
like, you can't
exactly.
just cut them all to
Yeah,
the quick.
it's
You
true.
Yeah,
can't.
right. Yeah, if that became the majority of stories we were telling,
like,
then
let's
fine,
do
free
it.
for all, just
Right.
like, go at
That's
it.
all
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah.
I agree with you. Okay, so let's talk about this nostalgia thing that you guys are both fully embracing. This
I could
podcast
sing of
actually,
it forever.
this has become a nostalgia podcast because I feel like most of our artists in the past few months have been like 90s singers. And
cool.
I love it. And I didn't even realize it first. And then all of a sudden I was like, we are recreating the lineup of Lilith Fair in this podcast. But it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So like, what is it? Like, Lauren, why did you decide that will be your next podcast?
Well, basically, I'm obsessed with television, and I grew up watching so much TV. And I kind of feel like I was, in my group of friends when I was a kid, like the only one who had seen all of these shows. Like, I've seen every episode of Different Strokes or whatever. It's like, why is no one watching these reruns, and what are your parents having you do instead?
Right.
And my parents are great people, and they're also like, they were very like attentive to me, but I somehow was able to like watch whatever I wanted all the time. So I don't know, I got away with that. And I just I can't let go of it. Like, I can't let go of all of these memories. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there who had the same experience. And once I found Gabrus, my friend who I'm co-hosting with, we like realized we have the same exact like memory base, like bank of like all of these memories. And we're like, okay, wait, we have like all the same references. We could talk about this for hours, and I think we should.
And now there's a
we
medium
are.
that embraces it.
Yeah. And we just like every time we get together, we have like a new topic for the episode. It'll be like commercials, and we're like, we're just gonna go off the top of our heads. We don't like research commercials. And then we're like, wait, I could talk about, like, we didn't even scratch the surface of like the commercials we remember for like in an hour. It was like, oh, we could keep going on just that alone. So
Yeah.
it's scary, but it's just fun. It feels good to like get it all out and have somebody else who's like, yeah, oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite TV show from that era that will be like the episodes that you will be working your way towards?
I have so many favorites, but I think one of my favorite like all-time shows is Golden Girls. It's so good. It's just genuinely so funny.
Yes.
I mean,
Not
like,
even for nostalgia.
No, I could just watch it now and be like, that's just straight up good.
Yeah.
That's good writing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's amazing. And also what Sex and the City is based on. So
Boom.
I feel like all the characters are like those exact tropes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
absolutely.
I just love that show.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Did they ever admit that?
I don't
Like,
think
did Darren
so.
Star
But
ever
maybe
say
it's like a flash forward of Sex and the City, like when they're like old.
Right.
It's like, this is the...
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so funny. Yeah. What about you, Lane? What's up with your nostalgia obsession?
Oh, everything now is trash. I don't know.
There's also that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But is that
it's-
us just getting older?
I think
Am
it might be.
rejecting young culture?
I don't know. I think about that all the time. For me, I'm like, how dark does this get?
Get dark. We
Because
can
I
handle
don't
it.
I definitely have like the opposite childhood. I think for me, like I was raised by TV because like I just like didn't have any family or anything like that. My childhood was like insanely dark. So like for me, my brightest moments were like TV and movie and music. Like those were my friends. Those were my family. Like it's like I know I care about it too much in a way that's like, and a friend of mine told me years ago because I'll go and I'll rewatch entire series. You know, I'll watch like all 7 seasons of Buffy, and like I'll just, you know, and then I'll go back and do it again because I get like very attached and I don't want to leave them.
Yeah.
And I like don't want to leave this world. And my friend was like, "Oh, I finally get like why you're like this. Like this is like spending time with your family." And I was like, "That's so dark, but like accurate."
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
totally what
I
it is for
definitely
me.
understand that, and I feel like even though like I didn't have the same experience as you, I feel like I get that same like warm feeling from seeing these people, where it's like, oh, these feel good to me.
These are my people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like less alone. I feel like, oh, this is right. Oh, Veronica Mars is at it again. I know that's 2000s, but like,
No,
it's
but
like,
still.
I get so invested.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think that's like kind of, I don't know. It's like my security blanket.
Yeah.
It's like maybe what going to your childhood room for people is like who that doesn't make them terrified. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like that.
But then also because of that, those things had a greater impact on you, right? So it's
So
like you
huge.
genuinely love that music and
Oh my
love those
God.
shows and love those movies because you needed them so much.
I need,
But
I
they just like inscribe themselves on you.
Like I like genuinely saved my life. Like
Right.
TV and movies and music. Like when people, I don't know, I get a little weird when people like talk about movies and TV and music in like this passive, just like, oh yeah, whatever, I don't care. I'm like, I need it, because it like saved me.
I think so many people relate to that though. That
Yeah.
is like, and that's probably comforting on some level. I feel that way even just out of being like, I watch too much and I'm a freak, and then being like, no, we all remember this too. Like we're these kids who like
No.
did the same thing, and it does feel good.
It
Even
does,
just like I hear like theme songs from certain shows, and I feel like I could cry. Like My
Like
So-Called
which?
Life, Who's the Boss. Those are some of my favorites. But I just like feel like when I hear it, it's like a tingly, like it is like ASMR or something, that feeling of just like, wow, this is just like a massage. Like, this is, I know I don't have to think anymore. I don't know.
It depends, and it depends what it is too, because there are certain theme songs that it's like it depends on what was going on in my life too, because sometimes it's like a melancholy, and that's what's funny to me too about like my obsession with certain time periods, because I'm like, you know, your life was trash then. Like it wasn't good. Do you know what I mean? But like
why
I'm just
am I
like
dwelling in this?
yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
like nostalgic for a certain feeling. But I think it's because of the escape that I felt while watching this or listening to this, as opposed to like, oh, I miss being 8. Like I do not.
Yeah.
But
But those were probably your happier moments.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I miss that. Like, all right, nothing exists because now, like, I go to Bayside High. Yeah, sure. Like, I'm one of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, what was Empire Records for you?
Well, okay, so
Or is it because of the soundtrack just being so iconic?
no, I loved like so another like layer to this nostalgia, and I don't know if you have this too, but like a lot of the stuff that I'm into now that's like from the 90s and stuff like that, I actually like didn't know about at that time at all. Like it was not something that was relevant to me. I didn't know a lot about like modern culture. I was like listening to a lot of, and not in a douchey way, but just like based on the way I was raised, like listening to a lot of 60s and stuff like that in the 90s. Like I was always listening to the oldies station.
Yeah, me too.
Me
So
too.
by the okay.
Why did we all love the oldies?
So you
though?
get it. Okay, cool.
It was like I would call into the oldies radio station, like request songs.
Yeah.
In like 4th grade. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
1,000%. And I knew all the songs on the school bus. My
Yeah.
friends were like, you know this song? I'm like, this song is amazing and you're wrong. Like,
Yeah.
That's so
don't know.
funny. What is that?
Well, was it from your parents?
I guess partly, but like my friends and I were into it.
Yeah,
Like, it was
right.
like a trend. Or
I know.
something.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
My
yeah.
friends were not into it, but I
That's-
was very,
that's
I had
really
like,
cute.
my mom gave me her like 8-track player when I
Yeah.
was really little. And I like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very into my 8-track player.
Well, I
don't
also
know.
like totally romanticized the 60s, and I was so
Yeah.
jealous that my mom was a teenager in the 60s and that she like almost went to Woodstock. Like I was so
Yeah.
envious that she got to
Wow.
almost go to Woodstock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like the music was all part of that, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess like style wise, that era was kind of popular.
It came
like,
back, though,
It's
the
a- yeah,
60s,
60s, 70s,
70s.
hippie
Yeah.
thing.
In the
Yeah.
same way that like when I see like teens now on the subway and I'm like, why are we dressed the same?
Yeah.
Like, why are we both wearing 90s chokers?
Yeah.
Totally.
But it's, and then you think about like, you know, when like older people as a kid would be like, I used to wear stuff like that. You're
Right.
like, leave me alone.
Yeah, right. Are there
So is it
oldie
about
stations
you?
now that play 90s music?
I
Are they
don't-
called oldies?
No.
I don't
it's
think
like
so,
Yeah,
right?
they're
80s
separated by
blocks.
like 90s. Yeah, I mean, at
Yeah.
least I listen to Sirius Radio, so it's like 90s
Yeah.
station,
Right,
80s station. But I don't know. Yeah,
It's not, because I remember when I was a kid being like, when I get older, are the oldie stations gonna play 90s?
Yeah.
And my parents were like, you're too intense. Like, you think too much. And I was like, okay. But now they don't. It's just like 50s, 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
80s.
But even on regular FM radio?
I don't know. I just feel like I feel like they kept it.
You're like, I don't know.
Because
about
it
that.
does
Is it
feel
wrong
weird.
to say I don't listen to that here?
Well, I'm not
I
listening
mean,
to
no.
radio that
I
often.
listen to controlled
Billboard
radio.
counts all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine. No judgment.
Controlled radio.
Yeah.
Well, so Empire Records,
Yeah.
I didn't see until like years after, because it came out like 96. Like, I didn't know about that until years after. But I just like, there were so many movies like that in the 90s that were like, most of them were written by women and had so many like strong, badass female characters. And they weren't the only woman in the movie. And they were like, you know, these textured, layered people. And like, it was just like, I think being obsessed with music and the fashion in that movie is so good.
Yeah.
And like the characters are all like, I remember in drama class, like doing the scene where like Gina like throws the Adderall at Liv Tyler's character, and just like, yeah, it's just like, I just thought it was hilarious in ways it wasn't supposed to be hilarious. And like, I just loved it. I wanted to be Liv Tyler, but if I'm being honest, like I'm totally Deb, like the like depressed shaving her head one who like,
Was that Robin Tunney?
yeah.
Yeah, she's good at that.
I want to be Liv Tyler, but like, I definitely grew up to be like just the weird tomboy.
Yeah.
who's, like,
But how'd you pick that movie for your first show?
It all just kind of came together, I think, because I listen to that soundtrack all the time. I really love the Gin Blossoms. Like, I
Yeah.
really
Me
love,
too.
Right?
Yes, they're good.
So good.
They're good.
I'm like yelling, and I'm sorry, but they're so
I
good.
recently downloaded the best of Gin Blossoms, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the
It
best.
sounds great.
Yeah.
But their song "Till I Hear It From You" on that was only, I think, on that soundtrack. I remember watching.
Wait,
that.
really?
I think so.
Whoa.
But either way, it's like known from that soundtrack.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the music video as a kid and being like, I want to be in a band so bad, and like just thinking it was this wonderful song. And that's one of those songs that, like, when I hear those opening chords of that, I just like lose it. And I was like singing it down the street, and I was like, I wish my band could cover this song, but like, fuck, I wish we could like cover the whole soundtrack. How would I do that? And I was like, oh, it could be a whole night, and I could dress up, and like people could dress up, and it just like, my brain exploded, and I was like, we could do other ones. Like, we could do the Josie and the Pussycat soundtrack. We could do 10 Things I Hate About You. We could do like a whole Lilith Fair one. We could do like, and I was like, okay, you must go create this. And then that's
Amazing. Yeah. So can you tell us like another soundtrack that you're going to cover? Is it all soundtracks?
You know, I don't know, because I thought about doing some albums, but you know, it's tough because like I thought about doing like maybe like No Doubt's Tragic Kingdom, but like not every song on Tragic Kingdom is like A++.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if everybody would need it to be. So like I thought like, oh, I could do like a best of this artist. Like I'd love to do a whole like Cranberries night, because like you don't get to hear, or like Letters to Cleo, or like all these bands. Like the only thing I've ever heard of anyone doing anything like this is like every now and again you'll see a bunch of dude bands who are like, we're all covering Weezer, and you're like,
Right.
we know
It
you
always
are.
is Weezer.
Always Weezer, or like we're doing Zeppelin. You're like, I know, but I wanted to do like the thing like. You don't get to hear songs like this, or like a full whole album. Like, like,
Right.
Yeah,
I
that's
just don't
really
get to
fun.
hear.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, would I personally love to do like the best of Selena? I'm like obsessed with Selena. She's a big one for me.
Yeah.
And I know all her songs. in
I only
Spanish.
know a couple Selena songs, but I did love that movie when I was little.
Oh god,
So good.
I have a weird,
Tragic.
very like I
obsession
sometimes
with
will watch
Selena.
like YouTube videos of her and just be like, she didn't deserve to die.
It is such an insane story. It's so crazy. Her number one fan.
her number,
Shot her.
and the owner of her fan club.
Yeah.
Like the woman who ran her fan club.
And just like an older woman. It is a very unlikely. All of it is very weird.
It's hard to figure out what the lesson is from that.
There's
don't trust anybody.
There's no rhyme or reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so intensely sad. And like you watch videos of her performing, and she was just this like incredible, gorgeous. She just like radiated just like joy. You're just like, she's this like, how did she even exist to begin with person?
Right.
And she's not with us. And it just like kills me.
How old is she when she died?
Like 25.
Yeah, she was really young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something. And she was just about to break into the American. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not fine. It's quite the opposite.
I know. I just like.
But you're fine.
Although I picture her as J-Lo because I only really know the movie.
That's totally a reasonable. I did for a long time, and then I.
It's like Lou Diamond Phillips in La Bamba.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Don't know how that the actual dude looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like
No.
that.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Probably pretty
I
close.
mean, they cast
There's a
him.
reason
There's
he
a
was
reason
put in the
he was
role.
put in the role.
Yeah.
It's like it's in the style of Lou Diamond
Yeah,
Phillips.
exactly. Same vibe. Yeah. Lauren, what's your musical background?
Oh wow.
Have you dabbled?
I dabbled as a child.
Did you?
I played the clarinet for 3 years without
Really?
ever practicing.
Hey.
And then I would like in the shows be like pretending to play.
Just middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tried like a lot of different things growing up. I like pretty much tried every activity and quit it. Like I did violin for 2 seconds, clarinet, and then I was like a tap dancer for a second.
Really?
Ballet. But all when I was like very little. And then I tried ice skating. I think the first day of ice skating I fell and I was like, I don't want to go back. And it was like the end. Like, of course you fell on the first day. I don't know. Like, it's so lame. That's why I was watching so much TV because I had no hobbies. But I just got a guitar for my birthday though.
Really?
And that's like a dream is to play the guitar. So
Was
I'm
it given to you?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really excited.
Are you going to take lessons?
To take lessons, yeah. I'm having a friend of mine teach me.
Nice.
And that's my goal to actually try to learn. I got a ukulele this past year and I like learned one song and then I get very like distracted. And
You
like
kept those themes from your
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I learned one song.
I know, and I want to be really good. Like I picture myself being awesome at it, and it's like so cool. And then I just am like my phone, and then I'm on there for hours. So hopefully the guitar will. I'm gonna like set time to have lessons with another person, not just my computer.
They
and
will
then
hold
like,
you
that
accountable.
will actually
That
make
will
it happen.
help, I think.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it might be good.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you want to learn? Like, what do you see yourself
I love
jamming
like
to?
folk songs. Like I love like Joni Mitchell and
That's
stuff
hard.
like that. Okay, fuck it.
I
then.
know, I'm saying.
No, literally, I'll
She
give up.
already thinks it's too hard. She already thinks we have to help her.
Right.
Forget it. I won't.
I mean-
Look, I think I'll start with like Twinkle Twinkle. That's my genre that I'm interested in, and then that's my passion, and hopefully I'll master that.
And then, oh, Danny boy.
And then I'll get right into
Yeah,
some
Irish
Joni.
folk music, I think, is
Yeah.
more the route you should go.
Yeah, I also love like Fleetwood Mac. Of course, I'm like,
Yeah.
these are people who are like extremely skilled guitarists. I would
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
do like the basic version where
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
can
I
do
know
the
what that
basic
tune
version.
is. Yeah,
You That's the
Stevie
thing.
songs and Fleetwood songs.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
your
Really?
jam.
I do Night of a Thousand Stevies every year. The,
Oh
like,
yes,
at Irving
I
Plaza.
know. I want to go to that. It
You should
sounds
go.
so
Yeah,
amazing.
we do it every year. And I just did Madonna-thon too for the first time,
Oh,
which
yeah?
is like the same thing. And I did
Wow.
like Madonna songs and just drew like a comically oversized
Yeah.
cutie mark. But like, oh yeah, I'm obsessed with. I mean, I'm also.
Oh, I
literally-
didn't know it was your
I didn't
shirt.
even-
I honestly, the
That's a
amount of
good
times
one.
I've talked up Stevie Nicks and then been like, oh my, is like every day.
I was like trying to show how well I know you. I'm like, Lane's into Stevie Nicks.
You're like, I knew
it
that.
literally says
You
it on
read
her
her
shirt.
shirt.
Literally yesterday, I
I'm
was
a good
like at a
reader.
photo shoot and I was like, make me look like Stevie Nicks. That's all. She's like my everything.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like your goals.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
good goals.
We'll have to
Thank
do
you.
that.
I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I accomplished a new goal this year that I'm really excited
tell
about,
us.
which is that I never worked out in my life like regularly. Like I would
Yeah.
like try every once in a while, like go do something. I'm like, oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wanted to, but didn't have like the dedication or motivation at all. And then this year I was like, you know what, I'm doing it. And I work out now like 3 times a week.
What?
And it's a whole new world for me. And I like love
you
it.
love
And
it?
I think it's fun. And I like miss it when I don't do it. And I've never been like that. So I'm like, I think I can learn guitar now. I'm like ready. I've trained myself in
Yeah.
a new thing
Yeah,
I thought I would
yeah.
never do. And so
I'm actually very similar.
Yeah?
I couldn't regularly do that. Like I walk a lot. It's like you're in the city
Yeah.
and it's like it's fine. But yeah, and then like I started going to yoga classes. I was like, let's just like wade in. And now like I go all the time. Like
That's so
obsessively.
awesome.
In a good way.
Yeah.
But it's like a self-care thing.
I feel like there aren't a lot of things in my life where I can go like, oh, I can see how I've gotten better at that
Dude,
thing.
literally you're like
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
the last year
Yeah.
of my life.
Yeah.
I'm in the same. I'm just like, and it gives you, I think, like faith in like the world that you're like things can change and get better.
Right. It
Yeah.
is. And you can
Yeah.
have control. Like
Right.
there's
Yeah.
so much about what we do that you can't control at all. And you're
Exactly.
like, I have to just wait for things to happen or like try to make an
Or
opportunity.
things to hit. And
yeah.
like you don't know.
And you don't know what's going to work out or not. And then this is something where it's like, oh, I can control. Like I go on this day and I do this and
Yeah.
I get better at it.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. Last night I was at a barbecue at my friend's house. She and her husband hosted a bunch of people, and he was like super grill master, like cooking up a storm. And I was like, Will, when did you learn to do this? And he was like, oh, just like a few months ago, I got really into it because they had a baby and he wanted to like start doing something productive. But he's also an actor. And so everyone started dissecting like what else was behind his embracing cooking. And his
Right.
friend was like, also, dude, you can actually like start something, see it through to completion, and then be like, boom, it's done. It's perfect. We can all enjoy it. Whereas like when you're acting, like there's not a lot of control to a lot of that.
No.
You don't know how things are going to turn out. It's out of your hands at a certain point. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels really good to like
Yeah.
make something tangible.
Right.
Well, and also something that's not, because like I'm like you, and like I always have like 75 projects going, and I have something that like the second I get in there, like I can't think about work or I'll
Yes. Right.
Right.
And also like there's a time limit on it where you're like, I know that I can check out and just focus on each
For an
moment,
hour,
and
that's
they're
it.
not going to make it go longer than an hour.
Yeah.
And then it'll be over, and then I can go back to like my stupid worries and whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's like huge
Yeah.
for me to just like, because I can't, because anything else, it's like the whole time I can still be working in my head. I can still be worrying in my
Yeah.
head. I can still, but like there, I'm just like, this is for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really can't think about something else because you will lose your
Yeah.
balance or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Playing music is like that too, right? Do you have the same experience?
I do, because I can say that like if I every now and again if I'm playing something or singing something and we're in practice or on stage, if I start thinking about like, oh, I have this stand-up show tomorrow, or like, oh, I have this thing, and oh, you know who I should email? I'll fuck up.
Right.
And so I have to be like, nope, you're here right now. You're playing a show.
Yeah.
People are here.
Yeah.
It's not helping you to think about what you're going to do tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you'll literally like, and I think then that ends up being like, not to sound like a super hippie, but like a larger lesson about like living in the moment. Because like,
It's true.
Yeah. No, it
It's
is.
just
And
true.
it's so hard to find that. I mean, I don't know. People try to like meditate to find that, and there's
Mm-hmm.
different ways to get it. I feel like you can get there.
yeah, even
It's
in,
like-
because exercise ends up kind of being because you're just like, okay, I'm like breathing and that's
Yeah.
all I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm holding this. I'm making sure my like body is okay. And it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I study
all-
TM, and that's basically what
Oh,
they say,
yeah.
like doing your mantra is. It's like going to control your like body systems and like slow down your breathing and slow down your heart rate, and then it will release stress. And
How long have you
Yeah.
been doing that?
I've been doing it for about 2 years.
Wow. Have you noticed like growth in that?
I mean, I would like to say yes, although like I also think I want to believe that it's working, and I want to believe it was money well spent because it's very expensive to learn it. But yeah, I mean, I felt like in the first year I was doing it, I like got a lot of focus and clarity on things, and I was sleeping better, and they say it helps with all that stuff. I don't know.
That's cool.
I recommend it. It's also a great way when you don't really have time to take a nap, or you're not somewhere where you can take a nap. If you can squeeze in a meditation, it's even
no,
better.
Oh,
it's
wow.
true.
Yeah.
Because it rests your, I was telling her before we got in, I just got back from like a silent meditation retreat. Because I like,
Yeah.
Wow.
do
Oh, I was
them.
just talking about this with somebody.
yes.
How was that?
It
I'm
was,
like
like,
thinking about
fourth
how
one.
it'd be really cool.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like just from like talking to you for like 20 minutes, like go.
Because I'm like,
no.
she's like, you need to shut up for a whole week.
No,
Yeah.
no,
I know,
no,
totally,
because you
absolutely.
remind me of myself in so many ways of like, we're always doing these things and like
Yeah.
the same things have helped us. So I was
Yeah.
like, this has helped me. I think it would help you because
Yeah.
it seems like we're this.
That's cool. do you the first time you did it, did you go stir crazy, like being like, I want to talk, or are you happy to have the
No,
relief?
I was happy. I
Yeah.
was happy. It's not that I don't love performing and all this stuff, but like there's a part of you that's just like, I mean, I don't know, it depends on what type of person you are. Like at my core, like I'm pretty introverted, but it's like doing all this stuff, it's like you get to exercise all that extroversion.
Yeah.
But even when I'm not around people, I'm still working, I'm still doing all this stuff, so I never have time to like I'm not good at not working or like
Yeah.
taking breaks or like just chilling. Like I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
If you
that
could
was
change
all
that about
sense.
yourselves, though, would you? Or do you feel
Yes.
like it's been a secret to success?
I would.
I don't
answered
think
it.
I would, because I feel like it does keep my machine
you.
going.
Yeah.
Of like, if I don't have like an acting job, I'm still doing my other things obsessively, and like
Right.
I feel, even though I like often reach breaking points where I'm like, why am I doing so many things like
Yeah.
that I'm creating? I could just stop doing that, and then
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this problem of feeling like I'm
Right,
too
right.
tired.
Yeah.
Like no one is asking me to do this.
Yeah, I
But-
know, I know, I
But then,
know.
like,
Every day.
every time I kind of like try to give myself that break,
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel crazy that I'm not doing something. So I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
hard.
Well,
balance.
that's like I get why you say no. When I say yes, I don't mean a total eclipse of that, because similarly, I love that it's like every single day I have like 40 new ideas and 40 new things I'm creating, 40 new
Right.
things I'm pitching. But I just want more of like a balance. Like I want to be a person, and I've
Yeah.
like realized in the last year that like I don't know how to do that. Like I don't know how to like relax and just like chill with friends and not like look at my watch.
Well,
and
it's
be
not
like, I wanna work.
sustainable to
That's
be
all
at
I
like
mean.
100%.
That's all
Yeah.
I mean. 'cause
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been like that my whole life.
I can zone out.
I can't do that yet.
Yeah.
So that's when I say I
Yeah.
would change it. I mean, like, I want to be able to like zone out and be like, my therapist told me years ago, she was like, I'd love for you to be able to take like one day when you don't work. And I was like, get away. But like now I a little can't, like it doesn't, I just don't like that I don't always have control over like when I want to take time off. And then like my roommate will be like, why are you working? You said you'd stop. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm still in that place where it's
Well,
hard.
I would be so interested in doing one of those retreats. It also
Lane did it
probably
for almost 2 weeks.
You
right?
did?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the
They're like,
weekends.
yeah, they're like 12
yeah.
days. They're like 12
The
days.
one I know
girl.
about is 3 days, and I was like, that sounds good.
No, they're
12
like 12
days. I would.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do it.
It's okay,
Could you do
though.
it?
It's okay though because
I mean, what do you mean you don't know if you could do it? What do you think you would do?
I guess
like
I
run away
could, but I feel
screaming?
like I'd be like, okay,
Well, you
can we
can't-
do something? Like, I don't know.
like
Like,
you'd get a little angry.
Yeah.
well,
like
and
what do you
can't,
do
like,
activity-wise?
me? We're
You
still
hang
not
out?
talking.
Like,
No, you're meditating.
you're
Like pretty
just
much, like,
meditating? I
Do you
can't.
like clean? Do you
I'm
have
out.
chores?
No, you're
You
meditating.
don't
You
do
eat food, and then
anything?
like you can like take breaks where you can like rest or whatever. But you're supposed to be like actively engaged. Like it's
That would. I think I would go completely insane.
that's okay. That's okay. I mean, also it sounds like you had a
can't
better
write?
childhood than I did, so I feel like you don't need it as much as you're okay.
Can you write things?
can you
No,
write?
you're
You
not
can't
allowed to write,
write?
which has been I was able
No
to
journaling?
keep it. No, you can't read, you can't write, nothing. Which that was the hardest thing for me, not the talking, but because when you meditate or you take like even in like exercise classes, I'll get ideas and I'll wish I
Right.
could write on a piece of paper
Right.
and
Yeah.
I can't, but I'll know that at the end of that I can write it down. In the meditation thing, dude, the last one I went to, not this one, the one before, I wrote an entire musical while I was there, and I was
I was
like,
gonna say, imagine you writing a whole feature film in your head,
Right,
and
'cause,
then you
like,
leave and you're
finally
like,
you
I
can
fucking forgot it.
focus.
I do. And then you try to like, and I started right. I like broke the rules. I like snuck in and like stole a pen. It was not
Did you?
good. Yeah, for sure.
cheater.
Like the last one, because I had this musical idea, had all these other things. I wrote
Yeah.
out all the songs
Yeah.
and like, and then I realized when this time I was like, oh, I know why that was bad, because like you're there to like break that habit of like, but it's tough because when,
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, music and comedy are very similar, but like especially with like improv, you're like your brain is wired because like I know I have improv brain where it's just like I have a million ideas all the time and I can
Right.
just and which is awesome, but you can go crazy
Yeah.
because it's hard for you to like if you have that steady flow of ideas all the time, it's such a gift, but if you can't stop it,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just it can be tough. I don't know.
Lauren, how many days a week are you doing improv, would you say? If you
Um,
include podcasts.
Including podcasts?
Yeah.
That changes it. I
7.
Yeah, I do. Well, like I kind of have allowed myself to not do shows lately.
Okay.
Like if I'm feeling like I just really want to like have a weekend where I'm hanging out.
Yeah.
So
And that's
yes,
what it
that
is.
feels really good. I for years would never let myself like skip a show because I felt like I have the opportunity, I should do it.
Right.
And now I'm like, okay, the opportunity is there, but I also like to like hang out.
Yeah. And that opportunity is not going to disappear. in a
right.
week. Yeah.
But in years ago it felt like it would. Like,
For
it'd be like,
sure.
oh, I said no, now they're not going to ask me again. or
Yeah,
something.
that's such a thing.
So it is, and it's like I don't even know if that's true, but
I
it
don't think
feels
it
that
is,
way. But
but it feels very true.
Yeah, I think now I probably, including my podcast, I do like 3 days of improv a week.
Yeah.
Probably. If I did every show that I'm supposed to be at, it would be like 5
Wow.
days, and
Yeah.
that's just a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, I think there were years of my life where I did that and liked it, and now I'm like, I just don't know that that's what's feeding my soul right
Totally.
now to like be on stage all the time.
Yeah.
I think it just
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily always feel good.
But even 3 days a week, does that bleed into the rest of your life? Like just being on in that way?
It does in some ways, but like my podcast, because it's like an hour-long format, usually with
Yeah.
one other person, where we're
Uh-huh.
improvising like a 2-person show, essentially, it is really draining. And so if I do 2 in a row, I feel like very like brain dead after, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't want to talk to anyone or do anything. And it can be like energizing. It can also just be really draining. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes I've learned to not like do 2 usually unless I kind of have to. I'm
Right.
trying to bank episodes, but if I can do 1, I usually feel like, oh, it's so easy now because
Yeah.
I've been kind of like doing 2 in a row and feeling
Right.
like I used up every part of my brain
Yeah.
focusing on what the person is saying. And,
Totally.
Yeah.
Are you guys both UCB people?
Mm-hmm.
You are, right?
I do a lot of stuff at UCB.
Did you train at UCB?
No, I trained at Improv Olympic.
Oh, okay, cool.
Me too.
Oh, no way. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from the South originally, but when I was out in LA, it was like when I was doing that, it was like I think I started doing IO like right before like UCB got there or something
cool,
like that. Or
yeah.
it was like it was there, but I had been told like go to IO, and it was like UCB wasn't
established as much.
totally established in LA.
Yeah.
So oh, that's funny.
That's cool.
Do you guys like black out a little bit when you do improv?
Yeah.
I've always wondered this.
I do. I actually had a realization the other night. I was doing a show and I realized in the middle of it that I didn't know what was like where I was. Like I knew that I was doing the show, but I was like, wow, I haven't been thinking at all.
Yeah.
I've just been like,
I have to remind myself, and it's like that ends up being like a grounding exercise where I'm like, hey, Lane, you're at a show right now. What's up?
Yeah, but at the same time, you guys have to be so
But it's
present
good.
to do improv. So I don't know how you
Well, I
guys
think
have
that's
like a
part
dual
of it.
brain
It's
that I don't
part of it,
understand.
yeah.
I think it's kind of almost my version of meditation where it's like
Yeah.
I'm
Totally.
so in the moment with
Yeah.
this that like I forget that it's a presentation.
For sure.
So
Right.
it's like, which is fun because I think it allows me to just like be myself completely and say whatever, like completely unfiltered. But there will just be moments where I'm like, oh, that's just so crazy that I just am not aware of this right now. Like it's just a weird realization of like, oh, wow, yeah, we're here and they're all here and this is a thing.
It's like because you're shutting your brain off, and it's like I do a like totally improvised comedy show called Tinder Live, where it's like I go on my Tinder and it's like projected up there, and it's like the whole thing is like an hour and a half of me just like doing this, and I have like special guests who are on there with me, but it's like
Are you like swiping on people?
yeah, the
It's
audience
amazing.
like votes
And
if I
then she'll
swipe
like
right or
live
left.
chat with people on
Oh,
Tinder.
that's fun.
It's
It's
really
so fun. And then I'll have like, you know, other people who are actually, it's like this weekend. I mean, like, I don't know when this will air. It probably won't be this weekend then.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. But it's like, it's just smiling it because it's like the second that we match, like, I know exactly what to say to them. I know exactly. And it's like in character. So it ends up feeling like a one-person improv show with like Mystery Science Theater style panelists. But like, I have a very similar feeling of like every time I get off stage, I'm like, what's up? Like, just because it's like, and people are like, I don't know how you did that fast. And I'm like, I'm very tired now. Like,
You have to just focus so much.
Yeah,
and your brain
it's
is like, I need a break.
because there's no, I never know what's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
it's just, I never know what's gonna happen, and like there's no set end, so I always just like have to find an ending. It's very much like doing like a one-person improv team. It's bizarre,
Yeah,
but I
that's so
feel the same
interesting.
kind of like, it's very draining. It took me a while to realize like afterwards why I didn't want to hang out, and I would be kind of hard on myself, and I'd be like, why am I so tired? Like it's okay, and I'm like, nope, you just did that.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I know. I used to like to go out to like the bars afterwards, and now I'm like, I don't want to go home.
I know.
Is it because I'm old, or am I just like done? I don't know. I'm like, I like pajamas now.
Yeah,
That's who I am.
But I think I'm getting to that point. I remember doing like Hot Tub, like Kurt and Kristen show years ago when it was here. And afterwards, just watching like Kristen Shaw and her husband just like go immediately home. Like they like said goodbye to me and like the other comics, and they were just peaced.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking forward a little bit to like getting to the point where I can like give myself permission to do that.
Yeah.
Totally.
And not
do
stay
it.
for like an
It's
hour
awesome.
and like say hi to everyone.
I love it. I love
Highly
leaving.
recommend.
One of my favorite hobbies is leaving.
Yeah.
I think being done, leaving, those are the things I love. That's when I like really come alive.
Yeah.
when you're in your
alone.
pajamas.
Yeah.
In
I'm
my
like,
heart.
oh, I did the thing.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I think I'm still at that point where it's like, my friends will come or there's people afterwards
Right.
and they're
You
so
feel like you
nice.
owe them a little bit.
Yeah.
To, like, spend a
Yeah,
little
well,
time.
and it's like, I like them. It's not
You
that I
wanna
don't want to
see
see
them.
them. I'm just like so tired, and I'll reach a point where I'm like,
You can't
like
talk.
starting to fall
Yeah.
physically over. And I'm like, I love you guys. This is so, when is it? What time is now?
Have you ever seen someone that you know on Tinder while you're doing the show?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Not that I know, but like one of my favorite parts of the show is that like people in the audience, almost every single show, they're like, I know him.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
give it to me.
That's my
Because-
dream to like see someone I know. I would just like to see the profiles of everyone I know who's on Tinder.
Same.
Yeah,
Just, like,
I
look
know,
at
it'd
how
be
they
fascinating.
present themselves. It would be so
Well,
interesting.
when you host a show about it, most of your friends will show you.
yeah.
And I have to stay so silent because a lot of their profiles are not good.
Yeah.
And they're not accurately reflective of like how wonderful my friends are.
Right.
I'm like, you look like trash. Like, not physically, but I'm just like, if I saw you, I'd be like, ugh.
Yeah,
ugh.
yeah, you don't present yourself the way that you should. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know how
They don't know
come
how.
off or how to do
No,
it.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend was asking me for advice on her profile that she was writing, and she called herself witty and good-humored. And I was like,
Ugh.
I would never talk to you.
Right.
Yeah.
terrible.
and
That
it's
just makes it
so-
seem like you're not.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're trying so hard. You're being redundant.
Yeah.
Convince people that you're funny.
Yeah.
This is like red flag.
But that's one of the things I like about the show is that it does have that element of like wanting to help people like, you know, be perceived as lovely as they are, because I
Yeah.
do like have a positive outlook that like most of these people on Tinder like probably are like really lovely,
Right.
but they just look so awful on the way they're presenting
Right.
themselves.
But Lane, when you write the movie of your life, it would be an amazing moment when you're doing the show that like you found an ex or someone you're currently dating on there. And
or just like so dark.
I'm
so
depends
dark.
how you write it.
Oh,
You have
okay.
control in this scenario. 'Cause
Oh,
it's
okay.
fiction.
I was okay. It was fiction. I was
Yeah.
like, that sounds awful. I don't want that to happen to me. Like on stage, and I'm like, we dated. So guys, like I've thought about that. That's
That
like a
would
fear.
be like really scary, and like it
So-
could be really triggering. Like,
Yeah.
seeing someone being like,
Okay.
no.
Maybe it wasn't a great idea. I don't know.
You know, I just like that's
I mean,
interesting.
I think it's interesting.
it is interesting, but I'm just like I've been through enough.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. That's true.
But I have thought about that too before,
Yeah.
where it's like, I don't know, would an ex show up? It hasn't happened so far, but
Okay.
thank God.
I guess they have to be in your certain like radius, right? Like when you're doing it, is that like based on like
Yeah, but
their
like
distance
she
from
does it at the Bell House and
Yeah.
where's
they
the
could
other spot
easily
you
just
do?
be
Little
right
It's
Fields?
in Littlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I make the radius big enough because it's like
It's
well,
gonna
I
happen.
like-
It's gonna happen, Lane.
I think so.
So
I mean,
prepare
my
yourself.
story that I would prefer, as opposed to
Yes. Go
my
ahead.
story, is like more like
You meet
like
somebody.
like I'm like doing the show. I'm like, well, who's this angel? And then we
Yeah.
like talk, and he's like funny,
Yeah.
and like cool.
You're,
and,
I mean,
like,
that'd be
capable
very
of
cool.
trolling them because they're so cool. That
What'd you
actually
say?
you can't really troll them because they're so cool that the joke is on you at the end.
Yeah, which is great though, because
Yeah.
like I think at the end of the day, like I would love to find love. I would love to find someone great on
Yeah.
the show. It's just like so often you're just like, but then they're also
You do actually like you will acknowledge if someone's actually cool.
no. It's not a trolly show. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
very
it's
good
true.
natured.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
if someone's awesome, I'll like tell them they have like a lovely butt and like wish them
Right.
a good night and just, like
And let
leave.
them go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like because
Back
they
into
really
the water
do.
with them.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's all. So it's like it's fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Lauren, does your new show have a name?
Yes, Raised by TV.
Raised
It's
by
going to
TV.
be
Yeah.
launched in the fall, so it's not out yet. But we've
Like
been
any
our
good TV
episodes.
shows.
Yes,
I
coming
see
this
it.
fall.
I see it.
On
I see it.
TV.
Yes, it'll be on Earwolf, so you can check it out in the fall.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
Have you
cool.
recorded the first one yet?
We've recorded a bunch, but
Okay.
we're just
Like was the
waiting to
commercial
launch.
one you've actually
Yeah,
done?
we've done
Okay, cool.
commercials. And, well, I won't reveal all our topics. You can wait and see. But
Yeah.
we've been kind of breaking it up. But this live show will be the first one that anyone's hearing of it. So
So exciting.
The one that you're doing,
that we're doing
today.
Today, yes. Today is
Awesome.
Friday. Yeah.
Cool. And then, so will that be up? Like,
yeah, that'll be
next
part.
week?
That'll be out all when
That'll
all
be
is
part of the
launched,
show.
Yeah,
Got it,
in
yeah.
order. Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Raised by TV.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
All right, Lauren Lane, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
This was an awesome little detour for Soul Sisters.
Right?
But I would prefer to always have people on who can do multiple things.
Yeah.
Makes everything interesting. And Lauren, can't wait to hear your new folk album. That
Yeah.
I'm gonna crush
We're all
it so
rooting for
hard.
it now. You have like
We
people
are.
who are invested.
Like you said, it's hard, so now I have to prove that I could do it.
Yeah.
And that was the
trying
motivation.
to,
I
like,
needed.
egg you on.
and I said that
Yeah.
there's an easier version of songs and you should lean into that. So either way you
Somewhere.
win.
Yeah, or I'll just be like making my own songs and it'd be really good. So
Exactly.
I mean, obviously.
I love that now you're like insanely
yeah,
ambitious.
oh yeah, I'm gonna write my own. I'm gonna write hits. I'm gonna write
Yeah.
hits.
Now she like throws the microphone, knocks on all the Billboard volumes, and storms out of the building.
Exactly. Cool.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.